To ensure that we can actually give them more support and more help and reform the Homes Act.
Oh, hello. Sorry about that. Technical issues, gremlins. My computer just didn't want to work, so I've had to start a bit late. I've rewound the tape. Remember tapes? I've rewound the tapes, so yeah. Let's do this. If you can hear me okay and see me okay, that's great. If you can't, let me know. I'll try and keep up with your comments. Welcome to Not Safe for Work PMQs with Graham Hughes.
Today, on International Women's Day, we celebrate the successes of women in our society.
Yeah, at last, Mad Monk.
It's a crying shame that as we do so, we face legislation which drives a coach and horses through our world-leading modern slavery framework, which protects women from exploitation. Mr. Speaker, in the last decade, this government has introduced 5 plans to tackle illegal immigration, 5 utter failures. The problem just gets worse with every new gimmick. The Home Secretary says the public are sick of tough talk and inadequate action.
Oh God, this is so ugly!
With her assessment of this government's record.
Well, she looks like one of the monsters who lived at the bottom of the garden in a fragile
the
rock.
The gentleman fails to recognise that there is a global migration problem. We are not alone in facing these challenges, and it is precisely
there's a problem with people going from one country to another, is there, is she? Well, like your fucking parents did, you fucking racist, hypocritical gobshite.
To ensure that this remains a compassionate and generous country, that is done fairly and legally.
Compassionate.
That's
Compassionate.
why we will break the criminal gangs.
Will
Mr.
you?
Speaker, we've announced new
Technology is great when it works. Technology great.
Tougher immigration enforcement, and now new legislation that makes it clear that if you come here illegally, you will be detained and swiftly removed. But Mr. Speaker, what we haven't heard is the Honourable Gentleman's plan. We know what it is. It's open-door immigration.
Open door immigration? What the fuck are you on about? There were no boats. Literally, a few years ago, there were no boats. In 2018, there were 200 in the entire year. Now, there are thousands under the Tories.
Smash the gangs, sort out the returns, and clean up the utter mess.
Mess. Absolute mess. They're doing it on purpose. They want people to come over here on boats and risk their lives and risk their children's lives because it's all a game to them. It's all a game, and every time a child on one of those boats dies, they have, I don't know, a coke-fueled orgy or whatever it is the Tories do to celebrate things. Like a pandemic. Look at fucking look at Braveman smirk at that horrible little face off.
No ifs, no buts. Sounds like more talk. So in the interest of adequate action, when will he achieve that?
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Speaker, we'll be implementing this plan as soon as we can pass it through Parliament. So I look forward to the Honourable Gentleman.
Oh, he's going to pass it through Parliament, is he?
The reality is, Mr. Speaker,
the reality.
Is he
going to go about the reality
again?
The
Honourable Gentleman has been on the wrong side of this.
Prime Minister, Mr. Stafford, if you don't want to hear him, you can go and have a good cup of tea, nice and strong, but I will hear him, Prime Minister.
What?
Mr. Speaker, the Honourable
How
Gentleman
shit
has been on the wrong
is Lindsay
side
Hoyle?
of this issue his entire career. He described all immigration law as racist. He said it was a mistake.
No, your immigration law is racist because it is.
Asylum laws.
What?
It is clear,
why do we need tougher asylum laws, mate? They're asylum seekers. You find out if they're not supposed to be here and then you deport them. That's not an asylum law.
When I was in charge of prosecutions, I extradited countless rapists, and the conviction rate for people smuggling was twice what it is today. I voted against his legislation last time because I said it wouldn't work. Since it became law, the numbers have gone up. He's proved me right. Yeah. He should be apologising, not gloating.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister
Sorry if the
says
sound keeps
they will
dropping out on
people
soon
who aren't eligible to claim asylum here and then return.
Starmer there.
Well, they already tried that under the last legislation. Yeah. Last year, 18,000 people were deemed ineligible to apply for asylum. That's the easy bit, the talk. But as for the action, Prime Minister, how many of them have actually been returned?
None. The answer's none. The answer's zero. The answer is zero. It's actually none, if you can believe that. What? Have you? Almost. What? Doubled from 1 to 2. Nobody. No one's been sent back to the country of origin. Not a single asylum seeker, successful or not, has been sent back to their country of origin. Or to another country in the EU. In the last few years.
The importance of Prime Minister's questions.
Oh, he's so shit. He's so shit. This guy is so shit.
Come on, Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, he asked about arrests. He asked about our laws. Actually,
What?
when I was in Dover yesterday talking to our law enforcement officials, what did they tell me? Precisely because of the law that the Conservative government passed last year, they have now been able to arrest more than double the number of people they did before.
Double.
397 in the last 6 months.
It's gone up from like 1 to 2.
Is not just my priority, it is the people's priority.
Most of the people smugglers are living in the UK, by the way. They don't care about the people smugglers. In the same way they don't care about the drug dealers.
The Rwanda deal. He voted against
what? Scrap the Rwanda deal? Yes, because it's illegal.
Mr. Speaker,
it's illegal.
And he even argued
what foreign criminals?
Deportation flights. Well, and we know why.
Deportation flights, yes.
Because
it's illegal. You daft twat.
Standing in our way.
A lefty lawyer. What the fuck are you? You got all your money by being born into it and then talking, having a conversation.
I worked hard for my money. You keep shouting, it prolongs, and some of you are trying to catch my eye. When you're disappointed, I don't want any complaint.
Why aren't they in prison? When I'm in charge, Richard, they will be in jail. All these fuckers. All these soulless shites.
Because he doesn't want to answer the question. Because he knows what the answer is. The number is 21.
Wow.
21 people out of the 18,000. And what happens to the rest? They sit in hotels and digs for months on end at the taxpayers' expense. Last year, he promised to end the hotel farce. That's the talk. But because of his mess, there are thousands of people who can't claim asylum and can't be returned. So where does he actually think they're going to end up?
Mr. Speaker,
he's such an idiot.
Pressure on our asylum system. Right? We've actually got a
21 people. You've deported 21 people.
Why?
By making the country so fucking unattractive. By making it one of the worst countries in the world to live in at the moment. You cunts. You destroy my country. You fucking arsehole. You fucking racist arsehole. This little shit here, this whiny little shit, he isn't just racist against his own people and black people. He's racist against British people as well.
I'm going to say to the member from...
He is someone who came across here, his family came across to live in this country, and now he's trying to raise up the fucking drawbridge.
Speaker, in fact, he opposed every single step of what we've done to try and stop this problem. In fact,
this guy hates British people.
To this debate,
it's the only explanation for his actions. He hates this country. He hates British people. I really wish he would go find a country that he would like to live in. Possibly the United States. He was applying for a green card there, wasn't he? His forever home.
Absolutely deluded.
Absolutely deluded. Absolutely right.
He can't say where they'll return people because they spent 140 million on Rwanda and it doesn't work. They can't say how they'll return
120 people
because this bill doesn't come with a single new return agreement. And they can't say when they'll fix the mess because it's more talk, more gimmicks, more promises to be broken.
Empty promises.
A few months ago, I put to him that of the people who arrived on small boats, only 4% had been processed. He stood there
4%.
And said, that's unacceptable. What's the number now?
Go on, answer the fucking question. Go on, Ratman, answer the fucking question. Go on. Go on, answer the fucking question.
There are now 6,000 fewer people in
What?
the caseload of asylum.
Oh, okay. What's the percentage? What's the percentage? What's the percentage?
And again, he's mistaken when it comes to returns.
What's the percentage?
Because we do have returns agreements with
Do we?
India, with Pakistan,
Oh,
with
right.
Serbia, with Nigeria, and crucially now with Albania, where we
What?
are returning hundreds of people, Mr.
I think
Speaker.
you could always do that, mate.
Our position on this is clear.
Fucking
If you
lying sack of
arrive here
shit.
illegally, you will not be able
What
to
do you need a
claim
return
asylum
agreement
here. You will
for?
not
Someone turns
be
up to your
able to access
country
the modern slavery system,
and you don't
and
want
will
them
not
there,
be able to
and
make
they're
serious human
not
rights claims.
genuine
That
asylum
is
seekers.
the
You can
right
deport
thing
them
to
back
do.
to their original
But he's
country. You don't
simply
need a
going on and
fucking
about process,
agreement in place. Just put them on a
hiding
fucking
behind
plane.
process because he doesn't want to confront
They're not going
the
to send them back
substance.
here
We are the party
at their
of
expense.
fairness, and
Jesus
he
Christ.
represents the party of free movement.
Free movement. Yeah, I love my free movement, you cunt. You fucking took it away. Your parents loved their free movement around the Commonwealth, didn't they? The fuckers.
To the question, less than 1% of those arrived by boats have been processed.
1%.
It shakes his head. It's the government's own
1%.
statistics.
Do you hear that?
On his
1%.
watch,
It's
on
gone down
his
from
watch,
4% to
processing
1%.
of those boat cases has gone from unacceptable, in his words,
Yep.
to almost non-existent.
Wow.
And doesn't that tell you everything you need to know?
Wow.
After 13 years,
Yeah.
small boat crossings higher than ever, claims unprocessed, the taxpayer paying for hotel rooms, criminal gangs running all the way laughing to the bank,
Yeah.
and an asylum system utterly broken on his watch.
VIP lane.
This is their
VIP
fifth
lane
Prime Minister,
for
their
people
sixth
smugglers.
immigration plan, their seventh Home Secretary, and after all this time,
Seventh Home
all they
Secretary.
offer is the same old gimmicks and empty promises.
Yep.
Now, I don't agree with the Home Secretary on very much, but when she says that the Tories are all talk and no action, she's spot on, isn't she?
Yes. She said that. She fucking said that. All talk and no action.
Prime Minister.
All talk and
Mr.
no
Speaker,
action.
Illegal immigration enforcement up. The amount of people
What?
processing claims up.
The amount of number of people
backlog
coming here
is
up
down.
through the fucking
number of returns
roof.
agreements is
What?
up.
Return agreements? You got like
hundreds
two.
of
You just
people
rattled off
returned
like
to
two of
Albania,
them.
now
And one of them was
new
like
laws to
Nigeria.
detain and deter
Fuck
illegal
off.
migrants. It's clear what we stand for, Mr. Peter.
Really?
We're doing what's right.
A
We're
return
acting
agreement
with
is a
compassion,
telephone
we're
call
acting
basically
with
saying,
fairness,
we've got
and
someone
we
from
are
Nigeria,
acting
can we
to
send them back
respect the
home?
laws and
Yeah,
borders of
all
our
right.
country. We are delivering what we said, and it's crystal clear listening
He just
to
wants
this, Mr.
children,
Speaker,
the
that it's
children
gonna be the
coming here,
Conservatives
fleeing
and
war to
only the
die. That's
Conservatives
what he
that
wants.
Stop the boats.
You started the boat. Before 2018, there were no boats. Your party started the fucking boats!
Graphic lessons on oral sex. How to
Oh, yeah,
choke
great.
your partner
Penis
safely,
stone.
and 72
Po-
genders.
penis
This
stone.
Is what passes for
Penis
relationships
stone.
and sex education in
Yeah,
British
penis
schools.
stone. This is a woman who represents
Across the
penis
country,
stone.
Children are being
Yeah, but
subjected to
penis
lessons
stone.
that are age
Yeah,
inappropriate,
or oval sex.
extreme,
72
sexualizing,
genders.
and inaccurate.
The fuck are you
Often
lying?
using
You're
resources
fucking
from
lying. You are a
unregulated
fucking liar.
organisations that are
You
actively
absolute
campaigning
massive
to
fucking
undermine
liar.
parents.
Miriam
This
fucking
is not
cunts.
a victory for equality. It is a
Bullshit.
catastrophe
72
for
genders. Is that what they're
childhood.
teaching, are they?
Well,
Really?
my
Really?
honourable friend,
Oval
one
sex,
of his
yeah? Yeah.
commitments
The
to
safe way to
end
choke people.
inappropriate
What the
sex
fuck?
education
Where'd you get your
by commissioning
information
an
from, love?
independent inquiry
Fucking you
into the
racist
nature and
uncle's
extent of
Facebook
the
feed. You
safeguarding
stupid
scandal.
fucking arsehole.
Can I say I share my honourable friend's concerns and thank her for her work in this area. That's why
think
I've
it's
asked the Department for
inappropriate.
Education to ensure that schools are not teaching inappropriate or contested
What?
content in RSHE. Our priority should always be the safety and well-being of children.
penis stone.
And schools should also
Look out, penis
make
stone's
curriculum
coming.
content and materials
Penis
available
stone coming.
to parents. As a result of all of this, we are bringing forward a review of RSHE statutory
Oh, right.
guidance, and we'll start our consultation as soon as possible.
Penis stone.
Leader Stephen Flynn.
Ah, good. In like Flynn.
Mr. Speaker, on International Women's Day, can I ask the Prime Minister to reconfirm that under his proposed new asylum laws, a woman who is sex trafficked to the UK on a small boat by a criminal gang will not be afforded protection under our modern slavery laws?
Yes. That's completely correct.
Mr. Speaker, it's precisely because we
That's
want to
correct.
target our
He
compassion
hasn't answered the question.
and our
That's
resources
completely correct.
on the world's
They
most
won't be
vulnerable
protected.
people.
This guy wants slaves. This Tory cunt
Can I
wants
just say, Mr.
slaves.
He's quite right, the
And I mean,
person
how
interrupted,
thick is he?
but
How
ultimately,
thick
the
is he?
answer to
And that
Paul
grinning
Dirk
little
is
nerk
not
next to him.
Prime Minister.
How thick are they? Because they think that the racists, the fascists, the Nazis, the skinheads, friends. The white supremacists are their friends. Like Timothy Treadwell, who thought the bears in Alaska were his friends. They weren't his friends, they fucking ate him.
Nothing fair, there is nothing compassionate about
creating
a system where, as we saw recently, people are dying on these
Yes,
crossings. That is
yeah, that you make happen. That you make happen because it's politically expedient. You're playing a political game with people's lives.
You can be joining the others for a cup of tea. Come on, Stephen, please.
It's a cup of tea.
Mr. Speaker, I'll
fucking
take
expel
that
him
as
from the
a
house.
yes from the Prime Minister that women who are the victims of sex trafficking will not be protected under our modern slavery laws. What a complete and utter disgrace, Mr.
International
Speaker.
Women's
But whilst
Day.
it may shock, it shouldn't necessarily surprise, because this is the Tory government that in recent months has spoken of invasions. Just yesterday, this was the Tory government that said that 100 million people could be coming to these shores. And this is the Tory government that this morning said that number could in fact be billions.
Billions of people gonna come here?
Nonsense.
Not even 100,000.
From whom are his government taking inspiration? Nigel Farage or Enoch Powell?
Speaker. And what a load of nonsense, Mr.
Fucking, he hit the nail on the fucking head. I can't spit it out, you fucker!
The United Nations.
What? The United Nations, yeah?
Illustrates the scale of
Yeah.
the global migration.
Oh, right, okay, yes. Most of the people who are refugees at the moment haven't left their own country. They are internally displaced people. The vast majority are internally displaced people.
And our system will continue to be overwhelmed. And if
What?
that happens, we will not be able to help
Your
the
system
people
that you've
who are
ran
most
for
in
13
need
years,
of our support, our
and then you
generosity,
backheeled all our
our
agreements
compassion. This has always
with
been
the
the
other
way
27 countries of Europe.
Once we get a grip of this system,
Yeah,
that's
you know,
when we can
the
extend
Dublin
our support
Convention,
to, and
yeah,
that's why it's
yeah.
the right
You backheeled
legislation.
that, we had agreements with 31 countries, now you got agreements with 4, and one of them's Nigeria. Fuck.
At the fastest rate in the G7 of
fastest
4.1%, while at the same time greenhouse gas emissions
You're a fucking
fell
greenhouse
by
gas.
3.4%. To maintain this momentum ahead of the next
he's a bit
zero
gammony and a bit
strategy
Undertaker-y, isn't he?
Will he encourage my
Bit of
right
both.
honourable friend, the Chancellor, to
Tory
use his
fucking
budget statement
cunts.
next week to stimulate investment in renewable energy projects by renewable energy companies, both offshore and onshore, to improve our energy security?
We're not allowed
reduce
onshore
reliance on
wind.
more expensive fossil
We're not
fuels,
allowed.
and ultimately reduce bills for
We're not allowed
households.
on onshore wind farms because you
Mr.
won't
Speaker,
let
I'm
them.
proud of our
Because your
commitment to
cunt
scaling up
voters
renewable
go,
energy
oh, we don't
sources.
like look at those things on the hillside. They hurt my head looking at them because they spit round and round. They'd much rather have, I don't know, Fiddler's Ferry fucking coal-fired fucking power plants on the M62. Yeah, let's have that instead.
Make his views known to the Chancellor.
Ed Davey.
One of the tributes on International Women's Day.
Actually, it's
we
the
pay a
M58,
special tribute to the
M56,
women
sorry.
in this house.
Get your
past and
motorways right,
present, who
Graham.
helped shape the future of our country. Mr. Speaker, when Jean rang 999, she was told she would have to wait at least 8 hours for an ambulance.
Yep.
So she got in her car and drove herself to Eastbourne District General Hospital. She paid for parking and made it to the entrance of A&E, where she collapsed. Jean died an hour later.
Fucking
Mr. Speaker, no one should lose their mother or grandmother like that.
Absolute
So will the Prime Minister apologise to Jean's family and to all those who've lost loved ones due to the government's appalling ambulance delays?
Yeah, go on, apologise for that.
Well, Mr. Speaker, of course, my
Shazak,
thoughts and condolences go
32,
to Jean and
yes.
Jean's family for
Privately
what's
educated.
happened.
It's Eton, no
It's
less.
absolutely
Motherfucking
right that we continue to make
Eton.
progress on improving the performance in urgent emergency care. We outlined plans to do this just the other month, and I'm pleased to say that we are seeing performance improve, whether it's waits in A&E or ambulance performance times, a considerably marked improvement over the last several weeks compared to the peak pressures that we saw over the winter due to COVID and flu, and because of the investments we're putting in more ambulances, more doctors and nurses, and more discharge, I'm confident that we will continue to make progress.
It's exactly because we are compassionate that we have to demonstrate malicious callousness.
Since its release earlier this year, the heartwarming and inspiring story of Dave Fishwick's journey to set up a community bank has quickly risen to be one of Netflix's top films. Last week in the Chamber, I called for more initiatives, such as the Bank of Dave, to support local communities across the UK. Does the Prime Minister agree with me that financial inclusion is an essential part of levelling up opportunities in our communities? And will he meet with me and Dave to discuss how we can replicate his success story in other areas such as Stoke-on-Trent?
Well, Mr. Speaker, community-focused banks and non-bank lenders like the Burnley Savings and Loans have a vital role to play in ensuring that everyone can access affordable credit. That's why we've made it quicker and easier for new banks to enter the market. And the new bank startup unit was created several years ago, and now 30 new banks have been authorised. I will ensure that my honourable friend gets the meeting with the Exchequer Secretary to discuss this issue further.
Kevin Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. BBC Radio 4's You and Yours have exposed queue-jumping online touts who've been buying up Eurovision tickets and putting them on sale for thousands of pounds on dodgy sites like Viagogo. In this year, when we are hosting Eurovision on behalf of war-ravaged Ukraine, this latest example of rampant rip-off culture in Tory Britain is particularly
Tory Britain.
Particularly despicable.
Why it's illegal to resell football tickets and tickets for the Olympics.
Why
it's
hasn't his
not
government
illegal
done
to
more to
resell
support
gig
genuine fans over the rip-off merchants, the spivs, and the ticket touts?
Yes! That's a subject that's my own heart.
We will continue. We have
done. No, you haven't.
I'm happy
Yeah,
to
for football.
The documentary that he mentioned and make sure that we're doing everything we can do, and I'll talk to the Home Secretary about it. But more generally, it is a source of enormous pride for us to host Eurovision. I know it's something that everyone is looking forward to, and we should ensure that there is the broadest possible access to seeing that, and we'll do everything we can.
Alexis,
to make sure
yes.
that
Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here.
Mr. Speaker, in the aftermath of 9/11, the British government signed an extradition treaty with the United States with the intention of covering terrorism and violent crime.
Swiss Tony.
Since it came into force in 2003, the US has extradited 83 people to the UK. We've sent 225 to America. And 3/4 of those have been for non-violent and largely white-collar alleged crimes. There's a fundamental unfairness at the heart of our extradition treaty, and it was shown by
they're
the
a bigger
fact that
country.
Hughes refused to come.
They have 5 times our population, so actually if we've got around 200, they've got about 800, that's about right for their population.
An American system
right?
which coerces British citizens and gives them
an
unfair
no, they sent
trial.
800 back. Okay, fair enough. That is a bit disproportionate.
The American policy has been rather like an international commercial policy. Correcting
Everyone's
this
just
is
talking.
important.
No one's
Will the
listening
Prime
to
Minister
him.
look
You're boring
at
us.
this treaty with a view to correcting this parody of justice?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I thank my right honourable friend for his question. Obviously, it's in our national interest to have effective extradition relationships, and under the treaty we have with the US, we've secured the extradition and subsequent conviction of terrorists, murderers, rapists, and child sex offenders. I'm happy to meet with him to discuss this issue further. As he knows,
it's always a comprehensive wrong about everything. It has to be deliberate to be that consistent. But why? Because it's profitable. Power is profitable. Power is profit. If you're in power, you get to choose who's in the VIP lanes, i.e. your friends and family. You get to enrich your inner circle.
There's a stark correlation between areas off the gas grid and those with the highest rates of fuel poverty. It's worse in Scotland, ironically, in those areas closest to the national gas reserves in the North Sea, but also in urban deprived areas where multi-storey flats are deprived of the ability of having natural gas. Being off the gas grid means that you're dependent on currently unregulated fuels such as heating oil that have risen faster than electricity and gas, or being dependent upon old and inefficient and very costly all-electric systems. Will the Prime Minister end this by ensuring that all fuels are regulated, and also by ensuring that these households that are all electric are able to get the alternative fuel payment?
Mr. Speaker, as someone who represents a rural constituency with many people off gas grid, I appreciate the concern the honourable gentleman raises, but that's why that's always been uppermost in the government's mind as we've designed and implemented our support for people with energy bills, notably doing that based on electricity meters rather than gas, but also putting in place the alternative fuel support payment of £200, and we're making sure that that gets to everyone.
But then again, that would give that would
Mr.
give
Speaker,
Nigel
the
Farage a
adjustments
seat
to
in
the
Parliament.
dental contract last November were
Don't know
a
if we
very
want that.
welcome step, but there is more work to do. Will the Prime Minister therefore keep this area
If we
under
can
the
get
very
rid of
closest review to
Farage
ensure that
first, then I'm all for
constituents such as mine in
Where's
South
fucking
Norfolk and those
Gammon?
of other honourable members get the best possible dental care?
Mr. Gammon.
Well, Mr. Speaker, my honourable
Mr.
friend
Gammon.
raises an excellent
Got the special
point,
stuff for me,
and
Mr.
tell him
Gammon.
that we are
Yes,
continuing to
something
invest
can do.
in NHS dentistry, £3 billion
pound of
a year, but we've
unprocessed
also enabled
refugee
practices
flesh.
to do 10% more activity on top of their contract and remove
Those
the
silly
barriers so
refugees
that
keeping us in
hygienists
power
and
for
other
13
therapists
years.
can continue to work to their
By
full
fleeing
skill
from
set.
wars
The number of
that we
NHS dentists
started
has increased by about 500 over last year, and we'll continue to work with the sector to see
Wow,
what we can do.
£30 super chat. Thank you very much. Thanks for keeping me sane during these rotten Tory times. Thanks very much, Plummed Off. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank
Does
you.
the Prime Minister agree with me that voters in the run-up to May's local elections have every right
Don't
to ask
mention
candidates who are
transgender
standing for a
issues.
position of responsibility in local government questions relating to women's rights? And does he believe that as representatives of their political parties, all candidates must answer those questions honestly, politely and with respect while standing on a voter's doorstep?
Well, Mr. Speaker, the honourable lady makes an excellent point, and I wholeheartedly agree.
How many
with her.
Tory MPs are under
These are
investigation
important
for being
questions. Voters
nonces?
deserve to have
100?
clear and straightforward answers to them, and I hope that she can continue to put her campaign forward. She'll have my full support, and I hope in the local elections we can debate these issues in
The
a way
ex-Prime
that they
Minister
should
Boris
be.
Johnson wants to put his wife beater of a father as a knight of the
Last
realm.
weekend I had the pleasure of being auctioned off for the Conservative Women's Organisation.
He's a funny young Undertaker,
On this
but
International
an
Women's
Undertaker
Day, my
nonetheless.
right honourable friend,
They
joined
all
me in
look like
paying
Undertakers or
tribute to the
Gammon.
excellent work the CWO
It's
do
just
to get more
it's
women,
really
conservative
weird.
women into politics.
They're
And
males,
pay
anyway.
tribute to all the remarkable women who support us in the work we do, especially because she's in the gallery, my mum.
Jesus Christ. Fucking red wall. Fucking Tory gobshite.
Mr. Speaker,
My mum's here.
Can I congratulate
can I say hello
first
to
of all my
Mum?
honourable friend for his successful auction. I assume it wasn't his mother that bid for him successfully. But also, pay tribute
They're
to
enacting
her,
laws
but also pay
that
tribute
are
to the work
killing
of the Conservative
British
Women's Organisation
people
for the fantastic work
and
they
killing
do. We need more
people fleeing
women
war
standing in local and national
killing
politics, and everyone who is
people
working to bring that
around the
about deserves our
world
praise and thanks.
because they're
and long
doing
may it
nothing
continue.
about climate change.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Murderers.
On today's International Women's Day,
Have a little laugh,
research
you know,
published by
International Women's
pensions
Day.
company Scottish Widows has shown that a woman retiring today would have to work to the age of 81 to achieve a pension fund parity with her male counterpart. And as everybody is worrying, a woman in the workplace today, aged 25, can still expect to retire with a pension fund £100,000 on average lesser than her male counterparts. With all of the fiscal and social policy levers at his disposal, can the Prime Minister tell us how he is going to set a course to shut that gap over what remains of his premiership?
He'll do nothing. He doesn't give a flying fuck about anything but enriching himself and feathering his own nest. He's only going to be in this job for a year or so he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck. This man does not give a fuck.
Has in fact helped millions more women save into the pension, and pensions participation among eligible women in the private sector was 87% in the last available year, up from just 40% a few years ago. And we remain committed to the measures in the 2017
He's out to help out, wasn't
we'll
it?
continue to give this
Wasn't
issue
it?
all the attention it deserves
He's out
until we can
to
close
help
the
out.
gap.
He told everyone to go out in the summer of 2020.
Grimsby Town Football Club has reached the quarter-finals of the
God, who gives
the
a
last
fuck?
time the team achieved that was in 1939, which by coincidence was the previous time that the town had a Conservative MP.
I'm not going to have a fucking Tory MP much longer.
Now I know that Grimsby beats the Prime Minister's team of Southampton to get to this next stage, but would he join with me in congratulating the team and wishing them the best of luck when they play against Brighton Hove Albion in the next stage?
Mr. Speaker, it pains me, although I will say congratulations to the Honourable Lady and Grimsby for their victory over Southampton, and I now have a new team to support in the Cup, and she'll have my full support. I wish them well
don't give a
against
shit
their
about
next
football
match,
either.
and look forward to cheering her and all her colleagues
Although
on.
Liverpool did beat Man United 7-0 at the weekend, which was fun.
Mr. Speaker, I've heard the Prime Minister talk fondly about helping out in his mum's community pharmacy. How will he feel if 600 of them close this year because of a vicious NHS contract which takes no account of rising costs and is forcing many into bankruptcy?
Mr. Speaker,
I think it's great. Go on, say it. Say those words. I think it's great. People are suffering. People suffering makes me hard. Says Rishi Sunak and Boris Johnson and possibly Liz Truss. I don't know.
Access to pharmacies is something that people would both welcome and would help people.
You know that episode of Black Mirror where the doctor has an implant and if he causes harm to other people, he gets off on it? Yeah, that's Tories. It's basically Tories.
More than 2 years, an illegal waste site has been operating in the village of Borstal. Tipper lorries covering their number plates as they thunder onto the site at all hours of the day and night, blighting the lives of the residents that live directly by and creating untold environmental damage. I thank the DEFRA team for their engagement with the Environment Agency so far, but no action has been taken. So does my right honourable friend agree with me that enough is enough and swift multi-agency action should be taken to stop and shut down illegal and criminal activity such as this?
Well, can I thank my right honourable friend for raising this issue? The government is committed to tackling waste crime, and the Joint Unit for Waste Crime brings together agencies in the way that she described. I am aware she's met the local Environment Agency director about this particular issue, but I will also ensure that she gets a meeting with the relevant minister to discuss this further.
The 30p lead today was saying, oh, it's undemocratic to talk out about the problems with
Stevens was just 13 years old
the fact that the Tories have created this horrific migrant problem.
The two boys who attacked him had shared dozens of pictures of knives online before the attack. So could the Prime Minister explain to me why the government's removed measures to tackle this sort of dreadful online content from the online
They don't give a fuck? They don't give a fuck, Matt?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm very sorry to hear about the case that the honourable gentleman raises. My thoughts are with Ollie's
bullshit. Fucking platitudes. Fuck you with your fucking platitudes. Fuck you.
And that's why, for instance, the government brought forward new powers to improve the police's use of stop and search, which has made a major difference, and actually violent crime is now down considerably.
Oh, is it?
Over the past years.
Is it the past what years? How many years?
Goes further than any other country.
Actually, crime's gone up.
To make sure that we are protecting.
It was going down for years and years. Nothing to do with Tory policy. It's just the younger generation is nicer.
And others for being a groundbreaking law.
Far fewer people in the younger generations are psychopaths.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The Secretary of State for DEFRA will be visiting Shrewsbury at the end of this month at my invitation, and she will hear the tremendous progress to date from the River Severn Partnership and the Environment Agency that we are working to try to find.
He was the one who
was
massively for getting the UK out of.
We are now experiencing flooding in Shrewsbury on an annual basis.
He wanted the Polish government to intervene.
As a result,
fucking
will he take an interest, please, and secure additional funding for DEFRA so that we can finally tame these rivers and protect our communities from...
Fuck off, you gobshites.
This is an issue that my honourable friend has raised before, and he's right to do so. The government has doubled double investment in flood defences over this Parliament to £5.2 billion. I know the DEFRA Secretary will have her visit, we'll talk to him and his communities, and I look forward to hearing back from her after that.
Gerald Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Between 1997 and 2010, Labour governments across the UK lifted 800,000 children out of poverty.
The Tories put them back in.
Since 2010, the Conservatives have driven 500,000 children into poverty, with child poverty next year predicted to reach levels not seen since the 1990s.
When the Tories
there is not enough parliamentary time this year for the Prime Minister to say sorry to each child damaged by their policies. But could the Prime Minister start today by saying sorry for all the children that he failed during this time?
Yeah, go on, say sorry.
Mr. Speaker,
say sorry.
The exact stats are since 2010 there are 1.2 million fewer people in poverty than there were, and that's because of the actions that this Conservative government has been putting in place.
More children in poverty now than has
which,
been
by the way, Mr. Speaker, the best way to ensure that children, especially, do not grow up in poverty is to ensure that they are not growing up in a workless household. And as a result of the actions of this government in getting people into work, there are now several thousand fewer workless households than in 2010.
Obsessed with work. You got to do work. Dig a hole, fill it in. Dig a hole, fill it in. Do some menial fucking job.
Prime Minister to Dover to talk about the.
Oh, hey, she's a fucking arsehole. Here's a sex fucking pest's wife. Sex pest wife. Doesn't change her name, has she? Got divorced, I think. El Fico. All right, Natalie El Fico. Oh, I represent Dover. I'm going to stop all these horrible people coming. We're going to. Oh, into the French Sea. The French Sea. You've changed the name of the English Channel to the French Sea. Not even the French call it the French Sea. You fucking moron. What an idiot. El Fico. Absolute El Fico. And the people of Dover who voted for her, I mean, I'm sorry, you stupid assholes. I'm glad that your shithole of a town has become a joke. An absolute fucking joke.
Mr. Speaker, let us be absolutely clear in this chamber. Under this government's new dystopian, far-right, appeasing, anti-refugee
bill. He's right. He's right.
Those
Let's do this thing they do on TikTok.
Those who were trafficked to the UK would still face deportation. Can the Prime Minister therefore clear up whether Sir Mo Farah, who last year bravely revealed that he was trafficked to the UK as a child, would have been removed under this bill?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, it's precisely because that we do want to help the world's most vulnerable people that we've got to stop our system being exploited and overwhelmed by illegal migrants who are being trafficked here by criminal gangs. There is nothing compassionate, there is nothing fair about supporting that system continuing, and that's why our new laws are the right way to deal with this, and I hope that he can see that and support them.
Yeah, the stream is 15 minutes behind Pineapple Boy. I started late.
International Women's Day, I joined some of the amazing young women at Our Lady of Lourdes School in Leigh-on-Sea to take part in the FA's Let Girls Play Football.
Yeah, but transgender people are ruining it.
In particular, is a brilliant way to empower young women. And would he visit Southend and celebrate some of our aspiring lionesses?
That's so random.
Well,
in football, brilliant. Yeah, football, brilliant. Thank you.
She's right
waste of fucking time.
The power of sport to both engage young women, but also to inspire
She's probably
others. I'm looking
educated as well.
forward to seeing the lionesses later
Although,
today.
Wikipedia doesn't know which school she went to. She's definitely privately educated.
More support for sport in schools, which I hope she will warmly welcome.
In sport, wonderful.
Mr. Speaker,
absolute move.
On International Women's Day, it is vital we talk about women in Indian-occupied Kashmir being subjected to rape, domestic abuse, kidnapping, forced marriage and torture by the Prime Minister Modi's extremist BJP-led government. Does the Prime Minister agree with me that the BJP government have exploited women through gender-based violence, and does he agree that the UK government should be standing in solidarity with Kashmiri women?
You know, Pakistan's not entirely innocent of this kind of thing.
This government has a proud record of standing up for women and girls across the world. We
Really?
have led the way in preventing sexual violence in conflict, and we're taking a lead in
When
ensuring tens of
was
millions of girls receive the high
rape
quality
made illegal in
education
marriage?
that they deserve
Rishi?
in some of the
When was that
poorest
made
parts
election
of
in?
the world. And just today, we have announced
And just today, we just pulled out of
from the Foreign Office
Afghanistan haphazardly and left all the women who live there completely fucked.
And that continues our leadership on this issue, which will remain the case.
Fucking followership, mate. You can't lead a fucking. He couldn't lead a fucking army out of a wet fucking paper bag. Right. Okay, so I'm just going to knock the sound off from the Parliament there. Obviously, they've already stopped the feed there, and I will grow. I will grow like some kind of, I don't know, giant. Watch this. There you go. Boo! Freak you out there. And I'll get rid of that background there and just fade that out to my background instead. Maybe I should get that still that the BBC use, or that angle that the BBC use for that camera with no politicians in it. I get that shot with no politicians in it. Let me just do a print screen so I can screen grab. Okay, I'll come back to that later. So, hello, welcome. It is Wednesday, the 8th of March, 2023. And you've been watching Not Safe for Work Prime Minister's Questions with me, Graham Hughes. Thank you for all your wonderful comments. Thank you very much, Plum Duff and Alexis, for the super chats. If I missed anyone's super chats, I'm really sorry. My monitor is just... I've got your list of comments here, so I'm going to see the last few, and if someone needs a super chat, it doesn't come up with different colour, so sometimes I miss it. If I have missed one, let me know in the chat before I wrap up, which I will do in a moment. Before I do that, I'm just going to say, read out some of the comments that I can actually see. RC says, working together as a society rather than competing against each other in a pointless battle of the sexes is more fruitful for all. Yes. Plum Duff, it's a distraction, football, etc., nothing on proper topics. Yeah. They always do this. They go, isn't football great? Isn't cancer bad? Yeah. Except those in the channel, indeed. Sam says the shelves are empty. People can't afford to buy the things that are not on the shelf, but let's talk about the invasion of people in dinghies and football. I get the gist. Yeah, pretty much, Sam. That's exactly what they want to do. I mean, that's what they're doing. That's literally what they're doing. We got a council tax bill today, and it's gone. It's £200 a month now. £200 a month council tax. And we don't live in an affluent area, not by any stretch of the imagination. Wow. Honestly, I don't know how long I can sustain my life in this country the way things are going. Not just for my own mental health, because fuck me, oh my God, what have these Tories done to this place? But also, just being able to afford to live. Just to afford to live. I mean, it's outrageous. Our energy bill in January alone was £600. We usually paid about £750 a year for our bill, not a fucking month. And the price of living has gone through the roof. The price of a fucking pint has gone through the roof. I think it's over £5 for a pint now is fucking standard. That is outrageous. The price of a litre of fuel is outrageous. It went up to nearly £2 last year. And they can blame it on this and blame it on that. But the fact is that if we had things in place, we could protect people a lot better than what this government does. So, for instance, if we had the PPE stocks already, like they'd war-gamed for a few years before the COVID pandemic, we wouldn't have had this mad scramble to get PPE. A lot of it didn't work, and people died as a result of the Tories fucking doing this, pulling this shit on the rest of us. When it comes to people coming across in small boats, we left the EU without a deal with any EU state about what to do about people coming over to Britain in small boats. Up to that point, it hadn't been a problem because people just didn't, because they knew that if they risked their life and their children's lives in a small boat coming to England, then they would be sent back to France or sent back to the country that they were first registered as refugees or noticed as refugees in the EU. That was there. We pulled out of the EU without an agreement on furthering that or continuing it or anything like that. You don't have to be part of the EU to be part of the Dublin Convention. Yeah? So, fuck, they did this on purpose. This whole thing with refugees, they've done it on purpose. Red meat to the racist base, these base people, these absolute fucking scumbags who don't care about anyone but themselves. And that's all the Tories have got left now. Fucking gimmicks. That speech that Suella Braverman gave yesterday, the exact same speech was given by Priti Patel a year ago. The exact same fucking one. It's hardly any difference. We're going to clamp down. We're going to stop these things. We're going to do this. No, you're not. You're going to do fuck all except make the people whose lives are already fucking shite. They've had to leave their home, leave their family, leave their friends, leave everything they know, and travel across continents, and then get in a fucking little leaky boat to come over the channel. They don't know if they're going to live. They don't know if they're going to die, but they do know that under this shit fucking Tory government, there's a very good chance that even if they are cut, they're not going to get deported to Rwanda. There's only about 100 fucking spaces to go to Rwanda if they decide to take anyone. They're currently complaining about the number of people coming over from the Democratic Republic of Congo, saying, well, you can't really cope with these people, so we can't really take any more refugees unless you give us shitloads of money per refugee. And we're talking what the British government is proposing, £1 million per refugee to send them to Rwanda. That's not making it someone else's problem, ladies and gentlemen. It's really not. And what the Rwandan government want us to do is to take some of the Congolese refugees 1-to-1. So we're not even getting rid of any fucking refugees. It's staying the same number. And this is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. To distract us from, like you say, the fucking cost of living. The fact that the Tories have fucked everything. Everything. Every aspect of your life is now demonstrably worse because of the fucking Conservative Party and the dickheads who vote for them. So I'm sorry, I am at the end of my fucking tether. There was a riot going on right now. I'll notice it. Let's put it that way. I can't say what I'll really do because I'll probably get demonetised off fucking Facebook or YouTube or whatever the fuck this is broadcasting on. I don't know. I just work here. Oh, I do the technical stuff as well. But the point being, these fucking Tories, we need to get them out. They need to be so far out of office. They need to be in jail. That's how far out of office these fuckers need to be. And until that happens, we are going to be on this fucking treadmill, this hamster wheel of fucking misery, driven by these twatty fucking tabloids that no fucker under the age of 50 fucking reads. And the people over the age of 50, I mean, fuck that generation. I'm sorry, I know this is ageist, and I know there's some lovely people who are of that generation, the baby boomers, but fucking hell, there are a lot of fucking wrong-uns in that cohort. I mean, more so than any other cohort. There's a lot of wrong-uns. Just people who are so stupid and yet so arrogant. And the reason for this is they couldn't go to university. A lot of them left school at an early age. Not their fault. That leads to ignorance, not necessarily stupidity. But the fact they bought their house for £2.50 in 1973 and now it's worth £500,000 leads them to believe that they are some kind of genius. It feeds their ego. It feeds their fucking arrogance. I'm alright, Jack. That's the fucking motto of the boomer generation. And there's a book out called A Generation of Sociopaths. I don't think it's wrong. I'm sorry, but if they're going to call us a generation of woke snowflakes, then okay, yeah. Yeah, but you know what? A lot of snowflakes put together make a fucking avalanche. And avalanches can be fucking deadly. And I said it during the fucking PMQs then. People of different ethnic origins should be incredibly careful when courting the votes of people who would have them put to death if they had their way. Fucking how stupid do you have to be? But there you go. You got the arrogance, you got the stupidity. It's the Tory party right there. A party of arrogance and stupidity. And that's what's leading Britain. That's what's led Britain for the last 13 years. And look where we are now. And if you're not furious about it, I mean, I know you lot are. I read your fucking comments every week. My God. People out there who don't care. I don't think there's anyone left anymore who hasn't got a fucking opinion on this when they see their fucking heating bill coming in. When they see everything costing more, where they have to cancel their fucking family holidays for the next 17 fucking years. Mate, it's rotten. Something is rotten in the state of England. And that's where we fucking start our play. Anyway, Mad Monk 33, with the Tories playing into xenophobic public, I can see them getting back in and making it hard to say that, but I believe it's true. Yeah, manslaughter from misconduct in office. It's a long shot, but you got to try, don't you? Well, do we have to go through the actual, legitimate legal routes for justice? The Avengers didn't. Just saying. Anyway, number 3. My mum used to read the Daily Express. She was incredibly ignorant and damaged me as a consequence. Unknowingly, of course, I have noticed ignorance ever since. Yeah, I mean, it's painful. It's painful. I got members of my own family who read the Express and read the fucking Mail. Many of which you aren't on with us anymore. But I mean, They are poison. Those rags are fucking poison, dripping lies into the heads, into the minds of the older generation. For years now, they've done this for decades. It used to be the EU. That was the problem. Every one of your problems in life, where your cat died, your wife left you, you can't get an erection, it's all the fault of the fucking EU. And then we left the EU. Shit. Who are we going to blame now? Boat people. People coming on small boats. And when I hear the words, stop the boats, what do I fucking hear? Build the wall. Build the wall. Trump politics fucking 101. And there's enough dickheads out there who will fall for it. So I'm going to leave you with a little bit of a request, okay? If you hear someone stating these lies about people coming to Britain for asylum, please correct them. I don't care if they're your family, your nearest and dearest, or just some random person in the supermarket queue in front of you. Please just say, that's not actually true. No, you've been lied to. And explain that the way the Tories do it actually costs us more money, and results in more refugees coming over here illegally in dangerous ways. They're doing it so more children die. That's the statistic they're looking at, and they get off on it. That's what gets their fucking blood running, you know? Yeah. Oh, look at those kids dead. Look at those dead kids. We love it when a few children die after a 7,000 fucking mile journey across continents to come here. That fucking delights these little fucking ghouls. These horrible little chinless wonders like that fucking Suella Braverman creep. I mean, she is just the worst of the worst, and I can't express on here all the bad things that I want to happen to her. Mostly, well, I could. If you meet me down the pub, and I'll fucking tell you, I just can't broadcast them. But I would like a series of misfortunate events to befall her. Let's just put it that way. Okay, right, I am getting off now because it is 5 minutes past 1 o'clock. I won't be back tomorrow because I'm filming in Liverpool tomorrow afternoon, and I don't think I'll be in a position to be able to do a live show. I might just whip out my phone. Hey, whip it out. I might just whip it out and put it on the internet. Oh God, that sounds so wrong. I might just do it on my phone from wherever I am. That's always fun. I guess we're just having a conversation. I don't really need to have all this fancy tech behind me, and you know, your comments still come up at the side of the actual video when it's on YouTube. So maybe I'll see you tomorrow, maybe I won't, but if I am going live tomorrow at 9 o'clock, you will find out about it if you are subscribed and you've hit the bell notification icon, and you'll get a little ping on your phone. It'll say Graham's gone live. Honestly, I know when I was away in Bocas del Toro and on Ginger Island a couple of years ago with 18 months ago with Marcus Allshorts, we did a lot of live stuff over there. God, that sounds even worse. Anyway, we did a lot of live shows from the island, and I guess people's phones were pinging all the time, but I promise not to do that anymore. So only a few pings a week. You know, keep it a sensible level. Anyway, thank you so much for... Oh, shit. Hey! Whoa, pressed the wrong button there. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you to all of my patrons and all my YouTube members. And until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. Oh, and fuck the Tories!